Welcome to our continuing series of virtual voices focusing on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Today we have Maria Brodskaya, who was born in Ukraine and is a multidisciplinary multimedia artist, a Grammy-nominated singer. She is a neuroscience music pioneer, an innovator, to the winner of the Independent Music Awards. Over to you, Maria.
Hello, everyone. Can you see me okay?
Yes.
It is a pleasure being here. And even though, like with everything that is going on in my country, Ukraine, and all my thoughts are there all around the world, sharing the pain of what is happening right now, right there. And I'm very grateful for such thing that, when this big trouble comes, the world and people do have tendency to unite. And every time seeing this, being witness of that, actually brings me, just another insurance of the future for humanity, that we can all, no matter what, we can peacefully coexist together, all nations, all cultures, all religions. And as Ukrainian, I'm from Kharkiv. Kharkiv, that city, and Ukraine. This is the city, this is the country who has made me who I am today. Since I was 6 years old, I was living in a boarding school for musically gifted children, without parents, surrounded by amazing musically gifted children, and this is the environment where I grew up. Like we all have bond, and through years, we have been able to keep this amazing relationship. Now relationships now, my 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 friends, my classmates, my schoolmates, Ukrainian schoolmates are all around the world, and unfortunately, those who lived in Ukraine, a lot of them had to leave their country because of the war that is happening right now. They took their families, and it's been really heartbreaking. I would hear that they would just throw their phones and would run, like scream calling their children, saying that they were just running and hiding from planes and from bombing. Um, I don't want to focus on negativity. It's just something, as I said, that I'm grateful for. That this this situation in Ukraine has been bringing a lot of people together, a lot of Ukrainians together, a lot of people all around the world, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And I am New York based. I've been living in the United States for about 10 years now, and I've been working in music industry, and been working with technology such as virtual augmented reality and neuroscience. But music has always been my first and main medium. And one of the things that I have always been fascinated about is bringing people together through music, through art, through technology, and that's where I've been bridging different different mediums such as art, music, virtual reality, fashion, dance all together. And 2.5 years ago, at the beginning of COVID, I have created a virtual concert and smart education platform, GCI Planet. The whole reason was, when I found myself not being able to go out and perform, not being able to see friends, like, I mean, obviously, like we all were in the same situation. Um, I realized that we musicians, we artists, we do that was the moment when we all could actually use the power of art, the power of music, to support each other, to support others, to support the whole world. And that's how this virtual concert and smart education platform, GCI Planet, was created. It's a New York-based nonprofit organization where we work with musically gifted children, child prodigies from all around the world who are coming together through technology to support their peers in need, children in hospitals, hospices, refugee camps, or orphanages all around the world. And in 2.5 years, we have built a community of 57 countries. We have been working actively with almost all leading musical institutions in the world, different non-governmental organizations, with United Nations, with Microsoft. And of course, at the beginning of the war, at the end of February 24th, of course, our focus has been since then, has been on helping Ukrainian children, Ukrainian youth, Ukrainian refugees, women. And at the end of March, we have created a project, You for Ukraine, which is an international humanitarian benefit concert series and support program. And we have created an amazing concert where we have been supported by some amazing celebrities, musicians, artists, actors all around the world, and some incredible Ukrainian virtuosos, young children actually took part in that concert. And right now I would love to share.
Hi everyone, I'm Gloria Stefan.
This is Aldi Miola.
Dionne Warwick.
Rita Cosby.
I feel privileged and honored to be here, lending my solidarity to this amazing organization that is doing wonderful things for the suffering people of Ukraine.
We're going to be helping to save the lives of babies, children.
My name is Karnisha Mumik. My beloved Kharkiv is almost totally destroyed.
It's very difficult to watch. We've witnessed hospitals, some of them children's hospitals and maternity wards targeted.
It's going to help get some kids out of danger and help as many children as possible.
Your heart may be shattered.
What's happening there is horrible, and we can do something about it by supporting.
Now is the time that we must support them in their darkest hour, and we must support them always.
Thank you very much for watching. With this concert, we were able to raise some money, but also to develop some smart partnerships with together with our partners such as Global Empowerment Mission, Tikva, TIKVIV, and this is something that has been allowing us to create a steady humanitarian aid to Ukraine and to the borders. And while I'm talking about it, I can just also share a little bit of pictures. Though those families in Ukraine that have been receiving humanitarian aid, it's been a blessing that we were able to do this. And every time when they would send us some pictures, and some messages of gratitude, my heart is actually bleeding, because like when I see these old people, when I see children, when I see women, what they have been through, it's really heartbreaking every time. And we have been able to support with humanitarian aid more than 3,000 orphans that were evacuated from Ukraine by Tikva Children's House. And we've been delivering food, medical supplies, hospitals, beds. We have been delivering personal hygiene kits to to people in Ukraine and to the on the borders such as Poland, Moldova, Romania, Hungary, and so it is an ongoing mission. And of course, everyone who are able to, who are watching us, who are able to support us, we would be very grateful. Every little bit matters and goes a long way. You can find all the information on our website, gciplanet.org. So gciplanet.org. We will be grateful for any support, either it's financial support because we need it for delivery and for transportation and for gas, or any humanitarian aid, that you are able to donate. We would deliver it to people in Ukraine and on the borders, refugee camps. And I would also love to say a couple of words about the project that we are working on right now. And while I'm talking about this project, I would like to share some things as well. Okay, let's do from the beginning. So right now with GCI Planet, we are working on virtual reality music and art walk-in experience that is made of thousands of artworks of Ukrainian children, as well as performances of Ukrainian child prodigies. And now on the screen you are able to see some of amazing artworks. In the previous music video you had a chance to have a glimpse of our amazing young musical virtuosos. Here you can see the artworks of Ukrainian children. So if you can imagine, it's going to be one big VR art piece that you would be able to walk in and find different artworks in there in the shape of neuronet, and as well as musical performances of Ukrainian child prodigies. So you can find this information on our website as well, and if you have questions about that, I will be more than happy to answer them. We're looking for both for sponsorship supports, for financial support, for technical support, for media support in order to promote this project, because with this we're raising awareness about Ukrainian culture, and as well as with this project our plan is to raise more funds in order to continue helping Ukrainian children, orphans, all around Ukraine. So this is pretty much what I wanted to say, and I would be more than happy to answer any questions that you guys have. I was living in a boarding school for musically gifted children. In the former Soviet Union territory, there are 5 schools like this. This system doesn't exist anywhere else, and the youngest age of the children is 7 years old, and these are the children who are considered to be extraordinary gifted in music. And I was the youngest child that they ever accepted. I was 6, and that's where I was living, and I was growing up there without parents, because everything was very, very strict in terms of education. And I saw my parents on weekends, and not even every weekend. And I remember the very first time when I stayed there, and I was crying, and I was calling my mom. And I remember that the director of the boarding school, she took me around. She showed me like younger girls who were living there, and she told me that, oh, now you're crying, but then it's going to become your family, it's going to become your home so quickly, you won't even want to go back home. And she was actually right, and I'm so grateful for that experience, so grateful that I was able to grow up in such amazing, such incredible gifted environment. And now like I have, it's all around the world, they're all like laureates of multiple international competitions. They all have their schools, they have their students, and that was also how we were able to build this community just so quickly. Yeah,
That's very interesting. So for how long did you stay in the school?
Well, so the whole education in the school before you go to conservatory is 11 years. I I was the youngest there, as I said, like 6 years old, but I also finished it ahead of time, cum laude. So I was already in conservatory when I was almost 15. So it was 14 years. I was youngest in Ukrainian conservatory in Kharkiv studying.
Oh, so you were there from age of 6 to age 14,
Exactly, yes.
so
And
8 years. And then
yes,
following the 8 years, what happened? You went back to your home, or what happened?
so so I was studying violin, piano, and composition. And after I went to conservatory, after that I went to continue my education in Moscow in Russian Academy of Music, and after that I came to the United States, and I've been living here since the very end of 2012, and I've been working here as a musical producer, as an artist, producing, doing live string arrangements and orchestrations and electronic arrangements for different artists, major label artists, independent artists, as well as my own self as an artist performing,
Mhm.
playing.
So you really had quite a extensive life experience, both with your parents, then in the special school, and now in America.
Exactly. Yes, and I'm very grateful to this country. I really love this country, and I always dreamed coming here, and contributing to this culture with my education, with my talent, with my knowledge, and I wanted to build my career here, to create music here. Yes. I'm very grateful.
Mhm. And how many times have you gone back to Ukraine since you started your humanitarian project?
Well, actually, I was supposed to have a concert in Kiev on July 20th, but because they started to bomb and missile Kiev again, about a week ago,
Yeah.
unfortunately, this concert, we're not sure that it's gonna happen. I mean, there was such kind of quiet time, and we thought, like we hoped that it's gonna be okay. And that was the time when both, President Biden went to Kiev, and a lot of world leaders went to Kiev. It kind of felt safe, but now it doesn't feel safe. So I'm not sure that this concert, unfortunately, is gonna happen, but we're gonna look for another opportunity. And I also understand, that a lot of times you can be more helpful to your country being outside of the country than inside the country. So this is pretty much, how I am trying to use my my ability to be in the United States right now, just building this humanitarian aid, making sure that this steady humanitarian aid corridor is working, and people get food and all essentials delivered to them. And those people who are working on the ground in Kiev, in Kharkiv, in Lviv, and other cities, of course, they're all heroes. Like right now, we we have we have every week we have a truck with humanitarian aid delivering this such needed such needed essentials to Kharkiv and to all liberated villages around. And it's been really tough and really dangerous. And I'm very grateful to all those heroes who are risking their lives in order to deliver humanitarian aid.
Have you considered doing any concerts, for example, in France or in Germany?
Would love so very, very much. So, like, if you're interested in us creating a concert together, I would be more than happy. Also, by the way, so tomorrow, July 14th, another amazing international humanitarian benefit concert is coming out that I had privilege to co-produce. The concert is called World Unite for Ukraine, and we're gonna have such participants in there as Pink Floyd, musicians from Public Enemy, B-52, Al Di Meola. We're gonna have the biggest musical stars from Ukraine taking part in this concert, and other amazing musical celebrities from all around the world who came together, to support this concert for peace. And with this concert, we also, of course, are raising such needed funds and humanitarian aid in order to continue helping people over there. So I can share all the links after our conversation, so you can join and watch the concert. It's going to be really, really beautiful, and I'm very proud taking part of it. But yes, speaking of doing concerts in France, in Germany, or anywhere else in Europe, I would be more than happy to do so. Coming out tomorrow is going to be virtual artists from like 20 different countries all around the world, and that was the only way to put this concert together, because some of these musicians are still in Ukraine, some of them in the United States, some of them in Europe, some of them in Asia, in Australia. And this is also why it's called World Unite for Ukraine, and this is where I started my conversation today, that I'm really grateful seeing that people are coming together. And it is very touching to me, every time when I talk about Ukraine, about people in Ukraine, even about what we're doing, I feel very emotional. And it takes me a second, just to calm down and actually talk about things, because my emotions, my heart goes before my brain, speaking of the situation. Thank you so much.
That is absolutely an excellent idea, doing a global virtual concert and putting artists together that all have a philosophical approach of trying to get the evil part of our world
Exactly.
vanished, or at least diminished, and that people can live globally in peace.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
very, very interesting.
Exactly. That's where, like I have always seen my mission, even though, I would always say when people ask me, okay, so what do you like doing the most? You are a singer, composer, producer, violinist, piano player, you do this humanitarian international concerts, like philanthropy and technology. What are you? What is the main thing for you in life? And I would always say that as an artist, as an artistic ego, of course, I have always wanted to be on stage, just like to have people love me as an artist and screaming my name, getting flowers and all these things. And but at some point, and this is actually where I think, like 2 years ago, like at the beginning of COVID, I kind of had this revelation, that actually my real mission is in using those gifts that I've been given by God, by the universe, musical gifts, the language of music is universal, and as to use it as cultural diplomacy. The whole platform GCI Planet is built around the idea that we are using music and art as both as therapy and cultural diplomacy. And this is where I do see myself speaking this universal language, which does bring people together. Cultural diplomacy, music, arts can go places that politics and military cannot go. And this is where I do see my mission, and this is where I want to continue to unite people through music and through art in the name of global peace.
Well, I think that it's an excellent project for the rest of your life. And now I will turn over to Susie, and Susie will be asking you the questions that came from our audience.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We have a few questions here from the audience. First, could you please describe how you are emotionally dealing with full-scale war happening in your homeland while living here in the US?
Emotionally, well, my first and very natural, I think, emotional reaction was that for the first 7 days, maybe even 10 days, I couldn't do anything else except for just checking news constantly, just being on the phone with my family, with my friends, and I was totally not able to function or to do anything else, but actually, just watching every minute, every hour what is happening, checking all news, reading news, seeing pictures and videos. I couldn't believe that those streets that I grew up on, that I used to walk, like they were getting destroyed, and people were in such grave danger in the places where I would never think that I would see anything like this. In the 21st century, like we do live in civilized society, and it's been shocking to me, of course, to say the least, because I also do have I have most of my friends live in Ukraine, but some of my friends do live in Russia as well, and it's been just like heartbreaking, just to see what that the war that is happening, it's ruining Ukraine and in one way, but it's also ruining Russia in another way, and I just couldn't understand, you know, um, how anyone would really see any benefit, out of this war. Neither country, really. And that's where, like it was like additional shock. And only after like 7, 8 days, I was able to kind of put myself together and realize, okay, you took your time, now you have to put yourself together, and you can't stop the war, but you definitely can concentrate on helping those people who are suffering from this war, and of course we started with emotional, with mental support, and through creating this concert we were also able to actually create something more, like physical help with humanitarian aid. So that's where, it actually kind of almost saved me from going crazy, or going to depression, because I could so go into depression, and just not being able to do anything, but I realized that I just can't afford such luxury, because I do have access to be able to help people. That's why it also helped me, to kind of stay okay. Yeah.
That's very inspiring. Now, there are many people in Ukraine living in occupied territories, and we were wondering, what can you say to people who are living in these occupied territories to support them and kind of give them strength as they endure this?
It is very difficult, because I do have friends and friends of friends who live specifically in these places. And of course, they live in fear. Of course, they don't know if tomorrow for them is gonna come. In this situation, it's very easy to say some beautiful words from safe place sitting in the United States, just saying, oh, we are with you, just hold on, like we believe there's gonna be peace, everything is gonna be all right. And surprisingly, when I was calling my friends, like who were like living up on like under bombing, they were actually very grateful just for a phone call. They were just like, oh my God, thank you so much for calling, thank you for supporting us, and I almost felt like kind of guilty, to say these words like, oh, everything is gonna be okay, I'm with you. But surprisingly, people needed to hear that. So if so, I just want to say that, guys, we know you, we remember you, we're not leaving you alone. We are fighting together with you against the war. We're fighting for peace in Ukraine. We're fighting for peace in the whole global scale, in the whole world. And I know everyone is taking their part in actually bringing this peace closer to reality. So this is what I want to say, that guys, no one knows if tomorrow is gonna come for any of us. We do live in a crazy world, but I just want to say that, so you know that you are not left to deal with everything that's going on by yourself. We are working hard every day in order to do anything possible to keep you safe and to bring your peace back to you. That's what I want to say, and it's sincere, it's true, and I'm gonna work harder to make sure that it's true, at least for my own self, from my side.
Thank you. The next question is more related to art and how you work in the art industry. How does VR technology complement traditional art?
Interesting. So I've been getting questions about virtual reality and about using it for music and for art, like many times, like from different angles. And as I said, just having conservatory classical musical education and using and having music as my main medium, for me, virtual reality at first, I saw it as just another tool to express my inner universe, the same way I use voice, I use violin, I use piano, I compose, I write poetry, I do music production. But for the first time, when I was working on my first virtual reality project, which was creating the inner world of the song. The name of the song was, and it was actually almost 3 years ago, was 3OW Aliens Code, and the whole idea for me was to release this song not just as a piece of music, not as a music video, not as a lyric video, but as 360 virtual reality experience that would allow people to immerse into the song and to find themselves inside the song. So that's how I created the first of its kind hand-drawn VR music and lyric video where people could literally jump inside the song, and to experience all the emotions that that I tried to deliver through music and through lyrics, and each verse, each quatrain, meaning like four lines of the poetry in the song, were also illustrated by me. Were illustrated by some pictures, by some visuals that were explaining actually how I felt about each word, about each line of the song. So coming back to answering the question, to me, virtual reality is actually an amazing platform where artists can bring different elements of their artistry together organically. Because again, as a multi-instrumentalist, as a multidisciplinary artist who is doing many different things simultaneously, virtual reality is actually a very good home for different aspects of this artistry, of these things that I do in my creativity, to bring them organically together. Because another thing that I've been doing in virtual reality, when I really got interested in creating physical and emotional visualization of a live performance, and that's how I started to perform with virtual reality, creating sound responsive visuals in real time, VR sound responsive visuals by movement and sound, because I just wanted to capture this invisible moment, emotional moment, in the air of a live performance, this physical, to visualize the physical movement of a body, of a performer, and of a sound. And that was one of the things how I have been using virtual reality. So I do think that for any artist, whatever you do, it is a very great platform to actually extend, to deliver, to bring together different artistry of yours.
So interesting. How do you think all of the different industries you've worked in throughout your career can come together to make a positive impact on the world? Like, for example, the global climate change transition will require partnerships across private, public sector organizations, individuals. So how do you mobilize everyone from different backgrounds and walks of life toward a common goal, in your opinion?
Well, actually, I have always been thinking that, and I do think that actually it's not that difficult, because it doesn't matter what you do. If you work in music, if you work in art, you work in technology, you work in medical system, or you work like even, just making food, taking care of children, cleaning houses. I really think that whatever you do, in every area of your life, in any speciality, any profession, any industry, if people consciously were devoting what they do, not just even just sending money to somebody, but just like devoting a thought in just being in whatever industry they are, doing whatever they are, towards actually this common goal for humanity. I really think that it would be a great positive change. Because a lot of times, even though, like today at the beginning and then of our conversation, and I said it a couple of times after that as well, I've been witnessing people, ordinary people in different countries coming together, to support suffering people in Ukraine. But a lot of times people are so concentrated on their everyday problems. They live in a very kind of boxed world, only seeing tomorrow, and being worried about how they're gonna pay their bills, how they're gonna pay for their apartment, how they're gonna pay for the college of their children. And of course, it is a global problem, because we do have these things to take care most first, before we can think about something bigger. But I really do think that if in the culture, in school, in workplaces, we had a system where, as I said, like whatever we work, we can actually, just a part of this energy, a part of this time, we could actually just turn towards the common goal. Whatever we do, I think we really could make a huge positive change, whatever it is, including global peace. I really think so. Of course, each industry is very different, but I really, really think that whatever you do, if there was, I almost, honestly, I would make a law, for each country, for each industry, that, I don't know, maybe just like specific, it's like 1 hour a day, out of like 5 work days, people had to actually sit down and not just discuss world problems, but actually literally see just like what they can do today to contribute in solving this problem. Either it's a dollar, or it's an action, or it's actually spreading a word, awareness, whatever it is. I really think, but unfortunately I'm not a lawmaker, but I would actually think about making this law. Because when people do come together, experiencing like, let's say, just like same emotion, if it's a song, if it's a musical piece, I do think that they are kind of on the same level of vibration. They kind of the same channel, and this is where I think, like, we can deliver this information, about people coming together for the mutual good, and not just for today and tomorrow, but actually, for the safe future for the whole humanity.
I agree with you. Back to you, Susie.
Thank you, and thank you for the responses. So how does the situation in Ukraine impact our environment and human physical and both mental health, as you mentioned in your presentation? Do you know any solutions that can be leveraged to mitigate or help resolve negative impacts on our environment or mental and physical health from wars?
You see, if I can say that I can suggest any solutions, I mean, obviously, the war in Ukraine has affected much more, actually, that we can see now, that much more than we and understand right now. Because besides what is obvious, people losing their lives physically, people losing their homes, losing the ability to make money, to actually, to provide safe future, safe tomorrow to their children. They had to basically leave everything they had in their countries, in their country, in their cities, and live it. A lot of times they have no place to come back because their houses would be destroyed, right? So this is one of the things. The fact how many children have been suffering through the Ukrainian war is another huge and terrible and very important question. The number of thousands of children who are missing, and with officials really being worried that a lot of them could be kidnapped. Like a lot of families cannot find their children. This is another question. Obviously, the whole mental problem, that people have been dealing with through the war, because when you live under bombing or you leave the country and you need to build your life from scratch, and you're still worried about your relatives and about your friends, how it's affecting the whole world, even on the food scale. Like, for example, if we take those ships, that are not able to leave Ukraine, because it's patrolled by Russian military. This cargo ships, they can deliver this to the places they usually deliver it. And that's where a lot of problem with even food shortage in the whole global chain has started, and either it's from people to Africa to even people in the United States who see, the prices of gas rising, who see some other food shortages, coming, or actually already partially being here. I want to say that I'm not an expert in politics. I'm not an expert in economy, so I can only talk about things from the place where I am standing, from the place of being Ukrainian immigrant who came to the United States, who now, is trying to help their country, who's trying to help, to balance somehow the whole peace in the whole world, to make sure that people in Ukraine and Russia are not killing each other, and that this conflict is not going beyond that. And in terms of solutions, it's very difficult to see, except for one thing. At the beginning of the war, as I told you, like I was in shock. I was trying to understand why. I was trying to understand for what. I was trying to understand, okay, what kind of benefits for Russia it can bring, because people in Russia have started to suffer from the war as well. It's going to get much worse. And I recognize that I should switch from trying to understand who is right and who is wrong, and understand where it started and why. I should switch to what I can influence. I should switch and focus on those people who I can help to. And that's where I think my solution is. Whatever you can help, as again, like, is it $1 to a charity? Is it, just spreading a word about humanitarian mission that people are doing? Either it's my GCI Planet platform with You for Ukraine, or it's other organizations, who are trying to deliver the information. I really think that everyone can contribute, whatever it is, and this is where we should focus. We should focus on doing what we can do to help those who are suffering right now. This is my only solution, and I do think that it's the most important solution for everyone.
Thank you. How do you think the majority of people in the US feel about what's happening in Ukraine? And do you think other Ukrainians living in the US feel the same way you do, where you feel an obligation to help your home country from here?
Well, we have seen Ukrainians all around the world actually coming together uniting. And Ukrainians ourselves are actually very pleasantly surprised and very proud seeing that, because Ukrainians have always been very independent, even from each other. So right now, seeing how Ukrainians all around the world have been uniting and coming together to support their own country, to support their own people, to support each other, this is very inspiring. This is very amazing to see. And what was the other half of the question? How people in the United States. Thank you. Sorry. Um, I've seen people in the United States kind of at the beginning of the war for a month or so being very, very supportive, very thoughtful about it. And as time goes by, I've seen, that people in the United States have been tired of hearing of Ukraine. It's like, oh, we have our own problems. We have problems with gas. We have problems with inflation. We have problem with market. We helped already, at this point, and we don't want to hear more negativity in our life. I've seen that as well, and it's difficult for me to guilt these people, because I understand that they, like a lot of Americans, have participated already, in supporting Ukrainian people. A lot of ordinary Americans have donated a lot of money to support ordinary. We're talking just ordinary people supporting ordinary people, and we will be grateful for that forever. And on the other hand, of course, it's a little bit sad that conversations about Ukraine and news. I mean, we don't see. Sorry, like my phone and everything has been going crazy because of this World Unite for Ukraine concert that is coming out tomorrow. And even though I told them that, guys, I'm gonna be busy for an hour, but they probably forgot.
No worries.
We understand.
So
there's a lot that goes on.
People are people. Humans are always humans. So like we can't blame people, for just focusing on their own life, and kind of getting tired of hearing of somebody else. It's just still I would love, just to ask these people not to get irritated, and just to remember that there are people over there who are suffering, and if you can't donate another dollar for this, which is totally fine and totally understandable, just at least, just donate a positive thought. That would be appreciative.
That's a very nice thought. Remember, we are taught that charity begins at home. And if you take care of yourself, then you can take care of other people. And if you
Absolutely. Yes,
yourself,
absolutely.
you cannot take care of anybody. So
That's true. That's where I'm saying that we will always be grateful. We will always remember, and it's hard to blame or guilt anyone, because of life is continuing, and we should be grateful for that, because there are so many things in life that we are taking for granted, and when some things happen like things in Ukraine, and you see how easily those things that you would never think could be taken away from you, that you can lose them so easily. That's where, reevaluating of life, like actually, like what are real values of our lives. That's what is happening. I mean, and it's one of the things that COVID also has gifted to us, like we reappreciated actually, the ability to see our friends, to go out, to be healthy. So this is the positive that is coming through negative, and this is something that we should learn, whatever it is, either it's global pandemic or it's a war. And hopefully, like we should try and learn from this experience, at least if global peace or a world pandemic is not something that we can influence, at least we can influence the weather inside our family, just like to give a little more appreciation, a little more attention to our parents, to our friends, to our relatives. Again, it's good and healthy to think that today, to remember that today is all we have. yesterday is gone, tomorrow may never come. It's very important to remember this.
Very good philosophy. You seem to have galvanized a great deal of your inner strength and basically from your childhood to basically survive whatever is going on around you and try to think very positively. And that is something that is a rare gift that probably goes together with your musicality and your awareness of the influences of music and harmony in your life.
Oh, thank you so much, darling. You know, interesting that you said that. I I've been thinking recently, after the pandemic, and then after the war, about the whole kind of balance in the world of good and evil, you know. And I've been thinking that it's so interesting how our world is built, but there is no bad without good. I mean, there's always some positive that we can see and we can learn from something negative that happens. And another conversation that I actually recently had with a few friends of mine, that the existence of evil actually does secure our free will, because we have a choice. We have a choice to do this or to do that, and that's where, another belief of mine, that different powers, different view of the world, different anything can peacefully coexist together. And actually including, as I said, like including all forms of lives, including organic and inorganic, because this is where, like I would like to say a couple of words about artificial intelligence. What I do with another project of mine, NextVox, where we create music from brainwave impressions. So using our AI-based software, we take raw brain data from a person, and in real time, our software NextVox is translating the brainwaves into real musical score and performs it in real time. And this is where, to me personally, I see this amazing, peaceful, creative collaboration between artificial intelligence and human brain. And this is actually one of those topics that are very interesting and important to me, because artificial intelligence is one of the things that keeps on evolving, and there will be the point, where we will have to understand what our relationship is going to be, and before we are over there, we actually should take care of this today, because tomorrow it will be too late. And that's where, I think that, again, creativity in music is another environment, is another platform where this peace can be built, secured, created, as I said, like not only for people, but even between humans and artificial intelligence, for our tomorrow or the day after tomorrow.
That's a very, very interesting concept. And of course, you are correct. We are moving toward the greater need and use of artificial intelligence in almost every way and every matter of our life. And that is one of the problems with trying to resolve issues like, for example, overpopulation, overfishing, over destruction of our environment, and that we need to cope with. But it's interesting that if you put it in that perspective, it's certainly something that all of us should aim at. Susie, I think that we have time for one more short question.
Right. So, from an educational standpoint, how can music or other technological tools be leveraged to improve education in areas that have been impacted by the COVID pandemic and the war in Ukraine?
Thank you so much for this question. I've been in education for more than 20 years, and I've been I've been specifically teaching both children and adults individually in groups, and I have my own music methodology to do so, and and again, like with this virtual concert and smart education platform, GCI Planet, what like one of our main goals has always been to actually deliver good quality education for everyone, to democratize access to good quality education, our industry's music. So that's what we're responsible for. And you see, education is is one of the most important things, clearly, on the planet, because through education we actually can ensure, that our children are gonna have good future. And of course, like in the United States and in different countries, access to education has been not always easy. A lot of times, like parents wouldn't be able to afford good education because everything is expensive. That's where I think such like our platform, but there are more platforms that give people access to education, good quality education, can really contribute in building this, like healthy society for tomorrow by giving children today access to this education. And what was the last part that you that of the question? Can you please read it again, so I can actually, after I just told you like what I think overall, I can just more aim it towards answering.
Yeah, just more specifically how music can help with improving education, because
Oh,
during COVID,
yes.
people are unmotivated, and with the war, how can music help?
Yes, well, you see, like we all know that working, doing music definitely actually develops human brain, child's brain, and those children who do music specifically, they do so much better in math, in reading, in science. And that's where it is very important, to make sure that children that are not even going to do music professionally, but they still have access to that. And that's it's a common knowledge how important musical education is overall for development of a child, development of a brain in any age. In older age is actually good. It helps people, to prevent a lot of even brain diseases, like an Alzheimer, like prophylactics for Alzheimer. Sorry, like I'm not sure how to say it specifically in English. And I don't know. I hope I answered this question. Okay.
You did. Very interesting.
No, that was very, very clear and concise, Maria. We want to thank you for a very, very interesting discussion, and we wish you great success in all of your work and your projects, and look forward to listening to your concert. And the best of luck, and do
Thank you
keep
so
in
much.
touch. And Susie, thank you very much for hosting. Have a very good week and very successful concert tomorrow. Bye
Thank
bye.
you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.